What's up, traders? We're back again with another one. Right now we're going to be looking at TRX, TRON. So let's get into it. Right off the back, we can see that TRON was on a major downtrend, and that's pretty accurate given the type of weekend it's been for crypto. Trump mentions 100% tariffs and everything just goes to the floor, right? But that doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing. Good buy zone right now, it's my opinion. But yeah, so let's see what's going on with Tron. Right now, as you can see, we're coming off a major downtrend, and it looks like we're just starting to recover a little bit. Currently in a consolidation zone, right about 32 cents. Yeah, 33 cents, right? But let's take a look back and just see how things were moving for Tron throughout the week. So we're spanning from like October 8th up until today, right? And also, as you can see, I have a few indicators on my charts today. So just a quick high-level overview on them. I got the exponential moving averages. I got 3 of them set. The 9-day, the 20-day, and the 50-day EMA, right? Exponential moving averages. This just gives me a very solid spread on how the market's been moving and how it's been behaving. And also I got the SAR, the parabolic SAR indicators on. That's basically a parabolic stop and reverse, right? And then lastly, I got my MACD line set. So MACD, essentially, it's an indicator, it's a trend indicator that shows you the relationship between two EMAs, right? So right now I have it set for fast length, it's going to be the 9 EMA, it's the shortest one, and for my slow length, it's the 50-day EMA. So it's showing the relationship between the shortest EMA and the longest EMA, right? I'm definitely going to get more in depth about these indicators. Right now, this is just a high level overview, but these things are like, once you learn how to set these things up and how these indicators work, it's a game changer. Trust me. And honestly, it's very, very simple. These are probably the simplest indicators to learn. So I'll definitely get into that down the line. But let me just see, how things were moving for Tron the past week or so. So as we see, it was in a consolidation zone right here, and it managed to break out. But I want to showcase this here, right? This area. So as we seen, we have the 9-day EMA, which is my blue line, 20-day EMA, and the 50-day EMA. Whenever the 9-day is below the 20 and below the 50, that's signaling a downtrend or consolidation area, right? But as you can see, as the 9-day started to cross over the 20-day EMA and then make its way over the 50-day EMA, that's a strong signal for uptrend. But alongside of that, my parabolic SAR indicators, as you can see, anytime the parabolic SAR indicators are above the price line, as you see right here, so these dots right here, right, these green dots, these are above the price line. This is an indicator that we're on a downtrend or consolidation. The minute that you see the parabolic SAR indicators move below the price, as you can see, below the price here, that is a strong indicator that we're going to be entering an uptrend. And the MACD is just like, it's further confirmation to all of these things. This is really how I use my indicators. It's layers of confirmation, right? So the first confirmation is that the 9-day EMA, the blue line, is on an uptrend. It's going above the 20-day red line and making its way up above 50. Now, from the parabolic SAR indicators, they were above the price line, but then right here, they started to form below. So that's a clear indication that we're getting into some some uptrends, right? And so on and so forth. Here on the MACD indicator, the 9-day was below the 50 at this point, and then as the consolidation zone kept going, we started to see both lines, the 9-day and the 50-day, on an uptrend. And as you can see, the parabolic SAR indicators formed below the candles, and this resulted in a spike, right? This resulted in an uptrend. And so now another example, again, we hit this uptrend, we hit this resistance here. So now we see the parabolic SAR dots, right? They're coming up above the price line again, right? It's another clear indicator that we're going to be possibly entering a downtrend. So as you can see, the 9-day EMA line starts the downtrend, cross the 50 and go down past the 20, right? This is what makes these indicators like so great, because when you understand the concept, it can really sharpen your prediction skills and sharpen your chart reading skills. So again, sorry, we get rid of that. So yeah, just a clear example of how these indicators work and what they can do for someone that maybe wants to see where a coin might be headed, or see how the market's been moving. Like, these are definitely game changers. But as we can see, the parabolic SAR is indicating a downtrend. The dots are above the candles, above the price, and so are the the EMA lines. The 9-day EMA line, dropped all the way below the 20 and below the 50. So that's confirmation. And then also further confirmation on the MACD line. We have the 9-day going from above the zero line here, crossing over on a downtrend. Both 50-day and 9-day are on a downtrend right here. But as we can see, you can get some, I would say, some false signals with these indicators. That's why, the biggest note with this, I would say, the EMA lines, they are definitely, the right thing to start with. And if you're going to get into the parabolic SAR indicators, you have to use a parabolic SAR indicator with other indicators, such as the EMA and such as the MACD, because the market, it's volatile, right? There's always a lot of movements, and sometimes you can get some false signals, like this here. Parabolic SAR dots, they show up below the candles, which should indicate an uptrend, but truth is that it never broke out, right? Shortly after, they appeared above the candles again at this point, which then again, if you look at the MACD, both EMA lines are below this zero line here. So this is just, it's a fail safe. It's further confirmation, that you don't use the parabolic SAR solely for your predictions, because if you've seen this, you jump and say, all right, we're going into an uptrend, but that's a false signal. If you look at the MACD line here, everything's still below the zero line, so it's definitely not going to be showing an uptrend. And so on and so forth. If you just follow the trends with these indicators, you're definitely going to be, making some solid predictions, solid, decisions in the market. So again, we see the parabolic SAR showing up here, but the price was still on a downtrend. Now, as we close out this weekend, all right, as we're getting, to the end of this weekend, I'm seeing some good signals here. So, we're breaking out of this downtrend. We're starting to recover. TRON has started to recover here. So, as we see, we got the parabolic SAR set up. It's underneath the price. We see the 9-day EMA blue line crossing over above the 20-day, and it's made its way above the 50-day, right? And also on the MACD, we see the 9-day crossing over the 0 line. So this is a strong indicator that we're going to see a really nice recovery, and we're going to be entering into another uptrend, right? Which is good news because it's been a rough weekend, right? It's been a really low weekend. So I think this is a good sign for Tron, and my bearish and bullish predictions on Tron, I would say if we manage to break out of this consolidation zone here, and the EMA signals remain strong above the 50-day and the 20-day, and also with the MACD lines showing some strong uptrend signals, I think we can recover all the way back up to 34 cents, right, in the short term. We'll see how things go. We could be looking at 35, 36, 37, depending on what type of things transpire within that time. But if it doesn't break this consolidation, and if we're looking at these indicators, let's just say tomorrow we come back and we see the parabolic SAR and we see the EMA line start to form another downtrend in this consolidation zone, then we could be looking right back at a rejection, anywhere down to 31 cents, possibly 30 cents, possibly 29. You never know. But this is why it's so important to just learn these fundamentals, learn how to use these indicators, because they can really change your game in reading charts and doing these type of analysis. But like I said, I'm not getting too deep into the indicators on this video. Just wanted to give a quick outlook on Tron and what's been going on with it. So to get into some news and some media behind Tron, we got, I think, treasury expansion happening. Tron Incorporated added like 3.2 million Tron coins to its treasury, right, via its largest shareholder, bringing the total holdings of up to like 220 million. So this shows strong internal confidence and capital backing, right? So along with seeing possible uptrend, these type of things further reinforce that we should be looking pretty good in the next week or so, a couple of weeks. And then 60% network fee for Tron has been cut, right? So Tron slashed the network fees by 60%, including USDT transfer fees, right? With support from Justin Sun. Lower fees made the network more usable and attractive to smaller traders and micro transactions. Next up, we got Tron is planned to be launched on the Solana network, right? To expand liquidity to reach new users, of course. This kind of cross-chain move can bring more trading volume and exposure to a coin like Tron. So that's also good news. We got Tron set up to become publicly traded as well. So that's definitely a big move. Traded entity in the U.S. So Tron is set to become a public traded entity in the U.S. Through a reverse merger with SRM Entertainment. So that's something to look out for. This will give Tron more institutional legitimacy and access to capital markets. Analysts are watching Tron TRX test resistance around like 35 cents with breakout potentially 37, 38, give or take. Some people believe TRX could extend upwards to 40 cents, 50 cents under some strong momentum. So time will tell, right? But let me know in the comments how you feel about Tron. Are you interested in Tron? Is it something that you're looking at? So just let me know. And if you're serious about trading smarter, definitely check out my 3 free ebook bundle. Go to bullishnerd.com, sign up, $0, 3 ebooks. Get them now. So hit the like button, hit the subscribe. Stay tuned for more breakdowns and analysis and everything crypto. Have a good one.